Awaking to a firework sailing high into the morning sky and exploding is often how the people of Vorpal know it is the start of the Morska festival. One might find it odd that a fiery thing such as a firework would be the symbol for a water-themed festival, but these fireworks are designed to erupt into water magic upon explosion. Water creatures and water objects decorate the air above the town of Vorpal, and its residents know it's time for celebration. Vorpal had become known as the town most associated with Morska, the mermaid goddess, on the planet Fenrir. Once a year, the town chosen by Morska herself would host a festival of water to honor their goddess. This year was no different. A young Fennin girl with green eyes, freckles, and long black hair ran quickly through the streets of Vorpal. Fennin was the name given to the race most commonly found on Fenrir. Similar to humans on Earth, Fennins were the most diverse race on Fenrir. She paused to watch some of the water designs fly across the sky as if they were dancing. She saw children and adults alike rejoice from the signal that was the beginning of what could only be described as one of the most magical events on Fenrir. Anna was not from Vorpal. In fact, she had only recently arrived and learned about the Morska festival a few weeks prior to the start. As she made her way through the streets, she stopped to admire two large mermaid statues that faced each other in the town square. A big smile appeared on her face, and she rushed through the crowds of people, finally reaching her destination. The Sea Tides was written upon a large building that acted as both an inn and pub in Vorpal. It was the largest of its kind, and the current residence of Anna and her companion. She opened the front door and walked inside. Despite the early morning, there were numerous people of all races sitting around drinking and talking about the Mermaid Festival. Anna waved to a Fennin woman behind the bar. "Hello, Desiree!" Desiree was in her late 30s, had long silky black hair and black eyes. She was every customer's favorite. She was talking to a customer when Anna called out to her, and seeing Anna brought a big smile to Desiree's face. She waved back to Anna, but quickly lost sight of her as she bolted up a nearby staircase. She barreled through one of the doors. Inside was a room with 2 small beds and hardly anything else. This was the only room Anna and her companion could afford, and that was after making a deal with Desiree. On the bed in front of her laid an average-sized man with short black hair and black stubble on his face. In one hand he held a book, and in the other he held a small map. He was sprawled out in a way that took up the majority of the bed, and he was snoring. "Jeck! Jeck! Wake up!" Anna poked one of Jeck's legs to try and wake him. It worked. Jeck woke up a bit startled.
"What is it, Anna? What happened?"
Anna smiled the moment Jeck looked at her. He had seen that smile before, and it usually meant bad news for him. "It looks like I'm getting my wish after all. The Morska festival is starting today. We can actually attend before we leave town." Jeck stared at Anna for a few moments before falling back into the position she found him.
"Great."
"What are you doing? You can sleep later. Come on. I don't want to miss a moment." Jeck still had his eyes closed, but he heard Anna grab what he could only assume was a pouch of coins he left on the floor and dashed out the door, slamming it behind her. Jeck opened one eye to look at the door to confirm she was gone, and slowly began to get up. The sun was shining through their room's only window.
"It's way too early for this."
Jeck got up, still groggy from his sleep. Jeck's torso had numerous scars, and his hands were rough. His body wasn't necessarily fit or muscular, but it also didn't seem like he was out of shape. As he searched for a shirt, he looked over at the book he was holding. It was a book about Vorpal and its surrounding areas. The map he was holding went with it. He grabbed the map, folded it, and stuffed it in his pocket. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw where he left one of his shirts. He picked it up and sniffed it, establishing it wasn't that bad of a smell, considering he and Anna couldn't afford to get their clothes cleaned. Jeck put the shirt on and left the room, heading downstairs. Desiree smiled as Jeck approached the bar. This wasn't the first time she had seen Jeck looking this tired after Anna woke him in excitement.
"You just missed her. She left in a hurry."
Hard for me to keep up with her when she's this excited. Is it safe for her to be running around during this festival?
Desiree surveyed the customers around them, but most weren't close enough to hear their conversation, and the ones that were close to them were busy having their own.
"Normally, yes. This year's a bit different."
How so?
Desiree picked up a glass and began cleaning it.
"You got unlucky, I'm afraid. This never happens, but the rulers from Onyx and Obsidian are both here to visit the mayor."
They're both in Vorpal right now?
Jeck stood up quickly, ready to go track down Anna, but Desiree put her hand on his wrist to stop him.
Let go. I have to get Anna and leave.
Don't make it a big deal. They're here on business, but I doubt it involves you two.
Jeck relaxed a bit, and Desiree could tell. She let go of his wrist and poured him a drink.
How can you be so sure? Have you heard why they're here?
Well, rumor in the Sea Tides is that they're here looking for recruits. As long as you're gone before they start evaluating Vorpal citizens, you can continue to fly under the radar.
It's too soon. I thought we had more time. You were going to get me a job here, and I was going to make some money to help Anna and I stay afloat for a bit longer.
It's unfortunate. This would have been good for Anna, too. All this running around from place to place is preventing her from living her life. She was really starting to get to know people around here. It was a nice change of pace for her.
How long do you think we have?
Hard to tell. Since I'm living in Vorpal, I've only seen them visit once, and never at the same time. This is a really rare occurrence, and I won't be surprised if it gets ugly. Whenever they're in the same place at the same time, things always go south fast.
Jeck finished his drink and stood up.
Thanks for the drink.
Jeck went to pay, but Desiree just pushed his hand away.
I'll let you know what we decide to do.
Jeck left the bar and stood just outside the door. He looked around, but didn't see much out of the ordinary. Most of the festival events weren't near the Sea Tides, so he made his way in the direction of the fireworks. Quickly he noticed men stationed at all the exits of Vorpal. Some wore black armor from head to toe, with long katanas around their waists as weapons. The others wore gray armor that didn't cover as much as the ones in black. They also had long katanas around their waists. Jeck was about to turn onto a street with a lot of commotion. If Anna was anywhere, she would be where all the action is. But as he made his way to the corner of the street, he saw a large group of the knights in black armor. In the middle of them was a tall man. He had long blonde hair and a blonde bushy beard. Instead of black armor, he wore leather armor that was open in the middle, revealing his chest and abdomen. On the shoulders of the leather armor was fur that went around the back of his neck. He wore leather pants and boots to go with the revealing body armor and had a long katana in a sheath around his waist as well. Who's that?
Anna, you can't sneak up on me like that.
Jeck positioned himself as if to block Anna from the man's sight.
That was King Ingvar. He's the ruler of Obsidian. Why aren't you at the festival?
I was waiting for you. Anna offered some bread she was holding in her hand to Jeck. And spending your money on food, of course. Jeck grabbed the piece of bread. He wanted nothing more than to grab Anna and leave Vorpal as soon as possible, but he thought about the things Desiree said.
Well, thanks for at least buying me some this time. Let's go check out this festival.
As they walked together, Jeck began eating the bread. Anna spoke while he chewed. So that guy is the one they call the God King, huh?
You've heard of him before?
The orphanage I grew up in was an Obsidian. Everyone talks about him there.
I guess that makes sense. Lord Kazai, the ruler of Onyx, is here too.
Don't they hate each other?
They do. I can't imagine them being here at the same time will end well.
As they approached the festivities, a large pillar of water shot out from behind a crowd of Vorpal citizens in front of them. They both looked up in awe as the pillar dispersed into more designs. Most of the designs were different types of fish, but the final one was a larger design of what many people thought Morska looked like. The massive image of the mermaid goddess filled the sky, and when Jeck looked down at Anna, he saw how mesmerized she was by it. Ah, she looks so cool! Anna began making her way through the crowd, and Jeck was forced to follow. As they emerged from the crowd, they saw numerous stalls set up with different games for people to play. Though much younger than Jeck, Anna was in her late teens and didn't really need parental supervision, but looked up at Jeck for approval regardless. Can I?
I'll be over there. Don't go too far.
Anna rushed over to a stall to spend more of Jeck's money. Jeck made his way over to a concession stand. The bread was nice, but all it did was make him want something more filling. As he approached the stand, he heard a commotion nearby. A Fennin male stood holding his young son by the hand. Two of the soldiers in gray were blocking one of the exits.
This is absurd. You can't force us to stay here.
Lord Kazai's orders.
The Fennin man pulled his hand back and blasted the chest of the Onyx soldier with water magic. The magic bounced off the armor. The sudden outburst drew some of the festival goers over.
Let us leave.
We don't want to use force. No one is to leave Vorpal until after Lord Kazai has finished this meeting.
Jeck turned his head to the crowd and overheard some people talking.
We're not allowed to leave Vorpal?
They can't keep us here.
Jeck immediately rushed over to Anna. Suddenly, she had a blue streak in her normally black hair.
Did you get that streak put into your hair?
What streak? Hey, what's wrong?
Come on, it's not safe here anymore.
Jeck held Anna's hand and rushed back through the crowd, but this time with greater resistance. The crowd was making its way to the commotion Jeck left at the gate. As Jeck made his way to another gate, he saw 2 more citizens of Vorpal confronting soldiers stationed at the gate. This time it was Obsidian's knights. "Are you going to tell me what's happening?" Anna tried to tug on Jeck's hand, but he wouldn't let go or stop.
Later, come on.
Jeck kept going, and when he reached the sea tides, Desiree was waiting outside with 2 bags and Jeck's weapon. She handed a bag to Jeck and a bag to Anna. The weapon was a katana similar to the ones the Onyx army used, a fine crafted blade.
Don't forget your stuff. Good luck.
As Jeck and Anna reached the next gate, they saw a large group of Obsidian knights. "Why are there more at this gate? Let's try another one." Jeck nodded to her and started to turn the other way, but another group of knights were blocking the path.
Are you going somewhere?
My daughter is very sick. What she has is very contagious, and I need to get her to a healer.
I'm sure there are healers in Vorpal.
We tried them. They couldn't help us.
Jeck said the words and immediately tried to pass the knights at the gate. One of them put his hands on his chest.
I don't think I like your attitude. And no one is leaving this town.
One of the knights next to that one sucker punched Jeck and sent him crashing to the ground. It forced his grasp on Anna's hand to release. Jeck was back on his feet quickly and unsheathed his katana.
Anna, cover your eyes.
One of the knights drew their katana, but Jeck avoided their attack and cut him down. The next knight didn't even remove the blade before Jeck cut him open. One by one, the knights began to fall to Jeck's blade. To Anna, it felt like there was no end to the knights as she heard the slices and screams of Jeck's victims. The other knights moved to barricade the gate, preventing them from leaving. More knights appeared from the other direction. Jeck and Anna heard clapping.
Impressive.
King Ingvar stood and clasped his hands together on the final clap. Anna finally opened her eyes to see the massacre Jeck left around them.
I want that one.
We're not enrolling in your army.
Yes, actually. You are.
King Ingvar took a few steps forward, and some of the knights moved forward with him.
Everyone in this town is either going to Onyx or Obsidian. Just be happy you were recruited to the winning side.
We're a 2-for-1 deal. If I go, the girl goes.
King Ingvar looked over at Anna. He looked her up and down.
No, that's not how this works. She's too skinny. She probably couldn't even hold a butter knife, let alone one of our katanas.
She's stronger than she looks. Trust me. You want her on your side.
The king already made his choice.
You fought valiantly. That's the only reason she's going to walk out of here with her life. But I'd rather leave the weaklings for Kazai's army. She's not coming with me. That's final.
King Ingvar turned his back to Jeck to walk away, and Jeck raised his katana. The knights went to move to defend their king, but there was no need. King Ingvar whipped around and grabbed Jeck's wrist.
Way to make a first impression.
King Ingvar formed a fist with his hand and hit Jeck in the forehead with it. The blow sent Jeck reeling and he crashed to the ground again.
Pick him up and take him to our camp outside Vorpal. Leave this pathetic girl for Kazai.